Hello, world. So, I think what I've realized is I need to make a few changes to how I'm doing things a little bit. Not necessarily how I'm doing what I'm doing, but how I'm presenting it to the world, right? Me being super emotional, me being pouring my heart out, as therapeutic as it is, it's not beneficial to my current circumstance. It's probably not beneficial to anybody who wants to watch this. I mean, granted, there are some people that will be empathetic and want to see that, but I think there's a better way to come across. Um, so what I'm going to start doing is, as I do these nightly at 9:15 Eastern every day, uh, the advantage of being isolated, I have time. So what I'm going to do is start focusing more on my journey and what I'm learning about myself on a daily basis, not exactly what I'm going through on a daily basis. I think that would be more beneficial to people and probably more beneficial to myself as well in the long run. Um, so here's what I want to do, right? Today's been one of those days. I started out the day pretty rough. I was pretty down. I was telling myself stories. I was creating narratives about myself and putting myself down and a little bit on the low side and listening to the voice, right? Listening to that voice in your head that tells you you're not good enough, you're less than, you're worthless, you're this, you're that. As the day went on, I felt a little bit better, a little bit better, a little bit better. Um, I feel like as this grows and evolves over time, and as I grow and evolve, the circumstances, situations, how I handle it, how I feel it, how I see it, how I communicate it will be better, right? Because when it comes to expressing my emotions or expressing them properly, it's not one of my strong points. It's something I've never really done in my life, something I've never done very well in my life. So this is new to me. I've always worn my heart on my sleeve. I've always been very open about how I feel about things. I don't hide. I can't bury things because it doesn't work for me, right? It really works against me in so many ways. Um, I've realized that as I'm going through this process and as I'm reprogramming how I think of things or how I act or react or what my actions are, I need to have a little bit more control over how I express it, how often I express it, and when I express it. Um, it feels like over time I'm evolving a little bit every day, and I feel the progress, and I feel better, and I feel more worth, and I feel more worth. I feel more, love for myself, self-love, which is something I've never experienced. So it's a process for me. It's a large learning curve, right? Used to second guessing, used to doubting, used to questioning, always second guessing, right? I know what my heart and soul have always wanted. I know how I've wanted to come across and how I want to do things. But because of my insecurities, it sometimes comes across very wrongly. And sometimes I overreact on the emotional side, and sometimes I make mistakes, right? So, one of the things I started learning today is how to take those mistakes or take those negative thoughts and start transitioning them to a positive thought or a positive uh, swing to that, right? Or how to get out of those thought processes when I'm in the middle of it. Um, and it's not perfect, right? It's never going to be perfect. I'm never going to be able to, get rid of the thoughts completely. But I think what I can do, or maybe at some point they will dissipate. I can't say that either way, right? I mean, I can't project that. So what I know is I can focus on right now where I'm at today. I know that today I have less of them than I did a week ago, and I know that I have a lot less of them than I did a month ago. But they're still there, right? And they still come up. And whenever I get idle and I'm just being present, they creep up, right? And or if something triggers me or reminds me of something that um, hurts, I feel that pain again. Um, growing up an empath, that was impossible to explain as a child. Having a strong intuition as well, and then combining that with, you know, how I operate and how I've been programmed to operate my whole life, I think it worked really against me in many ways, and always feeling less than, left out, undervalued, underappreciated, manipulated, taken advantage of, disregarded, thrown, outcasted, thrown to the side, being an other. I think when you combine all those things together, it's created a thought process in my head that triggers a lot of things to always see the worst. I don't think things are always the worst. I try to always see the best in people, which is one of the reasons I've gotten manipulated so many times throughout the course of my whole life, right? Because I always look for the best in people. And it's a great quality to have when you value yourself, right? When you have a worth, when you love yourself. When you don't love yourself and you don't have boundaries and you don't know where to put them or how to put them in, sometimes you're forced to just cut things out, right? And just walk away from circumstances because you do not know how to handle it. And it's not the healthiest way to do things, but it's my own protection mechanism that I've instilled over years. But I also believe that that mechanism is the best way to approach my current situation for right now, as I'm learning new ways to set boundaries, new ways to protect myself, and new ways to value myself. This is a long process, right? This is a journey for the rest of my life. So I want to be able to dedicate everything I can to it to be the best person that I can be today, tomorrow, and so on, right? I just want to be my best self each day. And I'm proud of myself today, right? Like, I made a couple mistakes. I did some things I probably, regret doing, but at the end of the day, I'm learning from these lessons as they happen. I'm overall getting stronger, overall feeling better, overall, progressing, right? There's growth. I'm aware now. I'm more aware of circumstances, situations, thought processes, and things like that. So as my mind does what it's been trained to do over the years and think of certain things or creating storylines or narratives or doing these things, and I would outly express them or react to them, I'm starting to just be okay with it all, right? And I'm not, you know honestly, what's the difference, right? The story doesn't matter. The why something happened doesn't matter. It happened. I need to deal with that. I need to address it properly. And I need to show myself enough self value and enough self worth and enough self love that, when I forgive myself for whatever mistakes I'm making, and transition it to positive feelings and positive reinforcements around my whatever my actions, and then also at the same time, you know, be able to be proud of myself for the awareness, be able to be proud of myself for these changes, even if they're small. Be able to acknowledge my feelings, right? And acknowledge and allow them to flow, because for me, I can't bury them. I just can't, right? It eats away at me when I do that. I've tried it. I've done it over time, and burying them, blocking them, that's probably one of the reasons I started using. I mean, it's definitely one of the reasons. Uh, it was all to numb it out, so I didn't have to feel. I didn't have to, feel everything. So now that I'm evolving past this, I've been sober for so long, and I still was finding ways to bury things and ignore things and just settle for things. Now that I'm not settling anymore and I'm finding ways to evolve past that feeling, it's creating positive reinforcements on a daily basis. It's building my value, my self worth, my acknowledgement and understanding of what I've done, what I've been doing, and how I'm going to do it differently. It's over time. I believe that there are certain things that I won't do anymore, right? But there'll be still mistakes. There'll still be situations and circumstances. But I'm learning the tools to deal with them. And these tools give me an opportunity to be able to handle different circumstances, right? Like, I mean, I'm a survivor. I overcome everything that comes my way. I overcome every obstacle. I've always found a way to get through it. And it's funny because Saturday I have a talk about hope and how hope is free because, you know, while I'm in that moment and while I'm going through these adversities, I've always found a way to create something or express something that gave me hope, that gave me something to strive for. And there were always external things, right? Always external. No matter what it was always external. It doesn't devalue what I did or what I thought or how I felt. But I think the difference going forward as I evolve through this is I will be able to find that hope, that self-inspiration, that self-love, that love for myself to continue to overcome and be resilient, right? Like being resilient is amazing. It's a pure gift and I can be there for anyone else. I can help them get through things. I've been through so many different circumstances that those experiences are priceless, right? Because everybody's experience is different. But I know that once I get to the point that I value myself fully and I fully understand my worth and I really have, a whole feeling, right? Because I have this void that I've always tried to fill, like I talked about last night when I was extremely emotional. Um, Once I have that void filled with self-love, it will magnify and make everything else around me feel even better. It will also make overcoming obstacles that much easier, better, and self-sustaining because I won't be looking external for something to overcome something. I won't be looking for a lifeline to pull me through. I won't be putting pressure on others or unintended expectations or unintended pressure or unintended, situations, right? Like I'll actually just be able to get to enjoy it. I'll be able to just, you know, be in the moment and be there, right? And it's something I've never been able to do my whole life. But I'm finally understanding the concept of it better. And unfortunately, I'm so over analytical that just because I know how I'm supposed to do something, just because I know why I'm supposed to do something, until I fully understand in an analytical breakdown of how, why, when, where, how, all the different pieces, I can't force myself to commit to it, right? And I've been very fortunate, to meet these coaches and people around me that have just been there and that have shown me love and compassion to the best of their ability at times. Because everybody's a work in progress, right? And it's unfair to judge anybody for whatever they're going through. And the reality is, when I judge others, it's because I'm judging myself, and I have these insecurities and fears, and I mask them with helping others. And I do have pure intent when I help others. I really do. But I guess in some way, I'm always depending on that helping others to lift myself up. For the first time in my life, I'm helping myself to lift myself up. And then I can serve others better and more efficiently and in a healthier way. The dependency won't be there, right? I have very unhealthy attachments that I've created for myself over the years. And I didn't really start seeing that I've seen it, but I didn't really identify it until today in a conversation with my coach. Um, it, like my attachments put such a strain on relationships, other people, just situations and circumstances in my life. And I build this monumental pressure on it, and it takes everything out of it, and it sucks the joy and sucks the life out of it, right? um it's a painful experience, and it unintentionally hurts others as well. So it's never my intent, or never do I have malintent. I just never understood the difference, and I never understood what I was doing. um the way I was raised, the way that I grew up, the way that I started processing as I grew up, sorry, and then the way I started handling things when I started making my own decisions, just wasn't healthy ways. And I rejected help at that point. I rejected listening to others. I rejected, hearing anybody else out because I knew best. Um, and still to this day, I still have some of that. It's not ego driven. It's self defense mechanism driven, right? Because if I don't have a worth, then how can I have an ego? It's more about I get scared, right? When I get challenged by an individual, I feel very insecure, and those insecurities create this magnification on top of my strongest attributes and my great attributes, but then turns them into negatives almost in a way because I'm taking situations and circumstances that have amazing possibilities, amazing potential, and I'm tearing them down. And it's not that it's what I want. It's that I don't know a different way, right? And I'm working on that, right? I'm working on creating different ways. I'm working on creating new ways to do those things. So I'm excited and I'm proud of myself and I'm pushing through. And there is hope. There's always hope. There's always an upside. There's always a silver lining. There's always that way to live that you just see the best in everything. Um, but you gotta value yourself first. You gotta love yourself first. You've gotta see where you're at first and be able to appreciate it. And I've never stopped to see where I was at, and I've never stopped to appreciate where I was at. I've always tried to project where I would be or where I'm going or how I'm going to get there or what's going to happen between now and there. And truth of the matter is my intuition at times, more times than not, is accurate. But the reality is it doesn't matter, right? Because if I'm not present in the moment, then why does it matter what's going to happen down the road, right? If I can't enjoy what I'm doing at that time, then you could tell me that I'm the nicest person on the planet. I go down in history with the biggest legacy of helping more people than anyone. But if I don't enjoy the process and if I don't enjoy each step, then what's the point of what I'm doing? Right? And if I'm taking that joy out of me, then I'm definitely taking it out of others. And I think that that's a huge factor in everything I've done over the last 41 years of my life. And I didn't realize that until the last 24 hours, right? Um, as I make decisions and as I make steps forward, more things will be revealed to me and there'll be more ways that I can break it down. I don't think I'm the only overly analytical person on this planet. I'm extremely analytical. I'm extremely overthinking. But there's so many benefits to that as well, right? It's a huge advantage in many aspects of my life. But when it comes down to breaking myself down, unfortunately, that means I'm tearing myself down from piece to piece. And I'm not showing myself the value that I deserve. And I'm not showing myself the compassion that I deserve. I'm not showing myself the love that I deserve. I look at today, right? It's the second day of school. There was no hiccups. Both kids did all their work. They were all fed 3 times. They all bathed today. The house is cleanish, right? It's not perfect, but it's clean. It's neat. I folded all the laundry, 4 or 5 loads. All the laundry's put away. And I accomplished a lot. On top of that, I did all the work I do, right? I did my daily routine on top of that. And I see progress there. And I had a great doctor's appointment today. I started coming off some of my medicine, right? Because it came to the point that I'm getting a little bit healthier because of all the things I'm doing. So some of my medicine's getting lower. And I did a blood test and my tests are getting better. And there's enormous, monumental, tangible results that I'm letting slip through the cracks because I'm not valuing my moments. Because I'm so busy projecting, I'm so busy creating where I want to be that I'm losing where I am. And I know that there's people out there that have told me this before. especially recently. And I heard it. I always heard it. I always hear everything. The problem with me is I don't listen until I'm ready to hear it, which is one of the reasons I'm sober, right? It's one of the reasons I'm sober 14 years instead of 27 years. I had to go through what I had to go through to get to this point because I needed those extra experiences to be able to get to that point in my mind, right? And over time, I'm realizing that drinking coffee at 9:30 at night is probably not the best idea. So now I'm drinking water. Um, I've cut down my coffee intake less than in half. I'm trying to really just do things the right way. I'm also trying to drink a reusable filter bottle so that I don't go through plenty of plastic bottles. I was so passionate about the earth and taking care of the earth and doing those things that when things got out of whack for me, it all slid to the background and it all slid like I lost pieces of me because of my circumstance, right? And I was grasping on to whatever I could. Um, there's so many things about me that are amazing qualities and attributes and things that I've just allowed to slip and I've allowed to fall by the wayside because I'm so busy worrying about tomorrow, or I'm so busy worrying about 9 months from now, or 10 years from now, or 50 years from now, or what's even going to happen in 100 years from now, because I'm that crazy person. My throat really dry. Um, I'm the guy who, when you build a business, I plan for a century ahead, right? Because for some reason, I think doing that makes me that much stronger in my fortitude, or my whatever it is, right? Like my conviction. And in some ways, it does. But if I'm doing that, then I'm missing the value of what I'm doing today, right? And it's good to plan for those things. It's good to plan for that 10 years, 20 years, whatever it is. I mean, you can go 100, you can go 1,000, whatever years you want to go. It doesn't really matter, right? I'm great at planning for those things. I'm not great at living in today. I'm not good at living in today, but I'm better and I'm getting better. And I started overthinking. I started getting a little down earlier, so I took a nap for 20 minutes. The young Sid laid in bed with me, so she was in my arms, and the other two were doing some work. So why not, right? So I feel like every day I'm learning something. Every day I'm taking steps. I'm taking better care of myself. I'm going to bed earlier. I'm waking up at 4:30. I'm doing everything that I'm setting out to do, and I'm just not giving myself credit because I'm taking it for granted. I'm missing the value of what I'm going through right now. I'm proud of myself for what I'm accomplishing, and I'm proud of myself for the results. But I'm ignoring the fact that I'm making those steps every day. And I'm ignoring the fact that I'm showing myself growth every day. I'm showing myself gratitude every day. That I'm showing myself love every day. That I'm showing myself these amazing things that I've never shown myself before. And I've never valued. Not that I didn't value, but I didn't quantify them. I didn't give myself credit for it. And I think that's a big difference today. I'm starting to give myself credit for those things. I'm starting to see the difference in my thought processes. I'm starting to grasp the magnitude of what I'm going through and how I'm going through it, and under the circumstances and situations that I'm trapped in, and I'm still going through it, right? I'm choosing one of the hardest times of my life to actually do this, which is another hard thing to do. So, but that's okay. Oh man, I need more water. Um, I'm resilient, right? So I can get through anything and I can overcome anything. And you know what? Maybe I feel that trapped, and maybe I am trapped because I need to overcome. I need to take the hardest time, during my lifetime, right? The hardest situation this country's gone through, and strangest situation, and complication after complication after complication. And I need to prove to myself that I will do whatever it takes to find myself and love myself fully. I think that is the point to what I'm doing. I've done that for other people, and I've always done that for other things and projects and passions of mine, but I've never done it for myself. And by seeing that value within myself, it's starting to fill that void a little, right? That void that I've had my whole life. I'm Brazilian. Thanks, Kenny. Um, I think, you know, I feel like because I'm choosing now to do this, or because I'm forced to do it, or whatever it might be, right? Because I don't know what the court date's going to bring. I don't know what the hearing's going to bring. I don't know what challenges are going to be coming from that and around that. I know there's going to be more. I know it's going to get hard. I know it's probably going to get ugly. But if I build myself up now, then going through those things won't hurt. Going through those things will be easier. Um, being here alone and being forced to go through those things alone um, will be quite the experience. Um, it will be it'll be a true test to everything that I'm going through today, and everything that I'm teaching myself, or everything that I'm learning and putting into practice today. And I do believe that everything happens at the right time, at the right moment, for the right reasons. And I think that's the reason it's happening now. Because what I did was, when I came here to protect my children and save my children from their circumstance, it actually, Kenny, I was adopted, and I don't know what I am. I'm kind of a little bit of everything, I think. I don't know. But with that being said, during this time period, being under these circumstances and being willing to put many things that I love on hold, or take them away, or push to the side, or whatever it may be, to truly heal myself, to truly love myself, to truly put myself first, um, says a lot about where I'm at. And I'm definitely not giving myself enough credit. If I'm willing to do that, and I'm willing to to go through that at this moment in time, then I will definitely make it, and I will definitely push through this, and I will definitely overcome whatever comes my way. I will continue working on being my best self. I'm proud of myself today. I love myself today. Um, and I forgive myself for any mistakes I made today. Yesterday's mistakes don't matter anymore. Yesterday doesn't matter anymore. Tomorrow means nothing yet until I go to sleep and wake up, which I will be doing soon. Um, but what matters is that I enjoy these moments, the good moments, the bad moments, the great moments, the ugly moments, whatever it is, that I find that joy in it, and I find that reason why, passion, whatever it is, and I accept it, and I allow it, and I feel it. And as I continue this journey, it will get better and stronger. And as I continue this, whatever I'm doing, right, this end of day sharing situation, right, because I really just want to share with the world what I'm doing, because I think it might help someone. I think there's other people like me that need to hear this, that need somebody to emulate, right? Because that's the big thing when you go to the meetings and you get sober. The goal is to find somebody that you can emulate. Both of my coaches, and then my spiritual coach too. So all three of them, there's things about them that I can emulate. There's things about them that relate to me tremendously, that I can emulate and grow from. And having three makes sense to me. Most people only need one, but I got three. And it's great, and love it, right? Because they all have different angles and points of view, and ways to show and teach and empathize and care and hold firm at certain times. But I think I'm going to call it a night. It's about that 30 minutes, and I've rambled by myself for 30 minutes, which is pretty good for me. But I'm pretty sure this was a very coherent one. I feel very clear right now, and I feel very proud of myself today. And I just wanted to say I love you all. Thank you for following this journey. And you know what? I'm starting to love myself. It's pretty cool. Have a great night, everybody. Good night, Kenny.